Hey, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Matty?
Hanging out.
I appreciate the time and won't keep you for too long, but want to get into the new Memphis May Fire album and talk a little Warp Tour with you. And dude, you're almost like old school. It used to be back in the day, people would put out two albums a year, and you did between two different bands. And I'm just trying to figure out how the hell did you have any time to make this Shapeshifter record with Memphis May Fire? I mean, you always have that classic image of like bands going in, hunkering down in a recording studio for 6 months and knocking out an album. No way that happened with you with your schedule. So was it all just like piecemeal at a time, or talk to me about making this album?
Yeah, luckily Shapeshifter was done before we even went in to start Never Take.
Ah,
Um, and we had to strategically kind of plan it to be that way. And then now Anberlin is already working on another, like an actual new record. So it is a nonstop thing, but below all of the chaos, I'm super grateful for all of the opportunities, honestly.
so you really had to just plot it out. So the record was done like a year or two ago, basically, probably even before you went out on tour last year with Asking Alexandria and all that.
Yeah, so we had finished the record and then decided to roll singles out just periodically. So it was done for a minute.
Isn't that always the toughest part, sitting on the music and then like, how is it ever done? Like, I would think with all that extra time, there's that opportunity to go back and play with it some more.
Yeah, it's, time to go back and play with it. Theoretically is there, but is really frustrating to whoever's mixing the record,
Sure.
to be like, hey, actually, can we add? So we try to be meticulous when making the record, when, like taking each song one by one and really giving it its own spotlight so that hopefully it we don't have to go back and do anything else. But yeah, I mean, just the way that we've been rolling songs out and everything, it benefits us to have everything done ahead of time and to have it just in the pipeline so that the focus isn't on making the music, the focus on is on the rollout.
So you did hunker down then at one point and knock out the album rather than bits and pieces like I was imagining.
Yeah, absolutely. Writing happened in somewhat bits and pieces, but not, I mean, when all is said and done, we had our chunk of time that was writing, our chunk of time that was recording, mixing, being ridiculously critical of it. And then, it's delivered to the label and we're like, how do we want to put this out? And then by that time I'm already in with Anberlin and just grinding. And so if someone was like, hey, can we fix this? I'm like, nope. It's like that's already been done. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's all cool stuff.
Tell me that the car test still exists though, right? When you finish a track, you still go in the car and listen to it and drive around.
Every single time. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody knows. Everybody has such a like an emotional connection with their car stereo. It doesn't even matter if it sounds bad. It's still what you listen to music on, and such a great reference point. These days, like, studio monitors all sound incredible, and it's
Yeah.
not helpful. Like, I want to enjoy it the way that I would hear something for the first time that I didn't make. And then I also want to go and I want to listen on AirPods and, like Skull Candy earbuds and anything that I think people might have in their backpack and listen to the record with. It can be really helpful, especially with vocal level and where it sits in the mix, because something like a car or a studio, you might be like, oh yeah, the vocal sits really nice there, and you hear it somewhere else and you're like, wow, it's actually way too forward and needs to be tucked in. And maybe it's not a volume thing, maybe it's an EQ thing, but almost any way of listening to music is helpful when finishing a mix, for sure.
Yeah, and I almost think it's good to be distracted, like driving. You're listening to music, but you're also paying attention to the road, and that's when kind of your subconscious will almost kind of catch things.
That's so true. Yeah, spot on.
Dude, the album's another banger from you. You guys always put out great albums. Loved all the singles that came out. Chaotic, Paralyzed, Necessary Evil, Hell is Empty. But I got to tell you, man, the one that got me, it was like literally maybe 48 hours before, I was like, whatever happened to that band Blindside? And started listening to Silence again and was bumping that album. And then like a day later, you release Overdose with Blindside and with Christian from the band, and wanted to hear that whole story about how that came to be.
Well, I mean, that's Blindside has been my favorite band, my favorite heavy band for as long as I can remember. I learned how to sing and scream and go in and out of, the two from listening to Blindside and from listening to Christian and how he does his thing. So for me, it was always a bucket list guest vocalist, but it needed to be the right time and it needed to be the right song.
Mm.
And Christian and I had become, I wouldn't say like close, but acquaintances via social media. And we followed each other. And I saw him at Furnace Fest from a distance and said, what's up and everything, kind of geeked out a bit. Right. But never did I approach this idea until it was like, yeah, this is the one. And when we had finished that song, I had written everything for it, verse 2 and everything was already done, but it felt like there is an opportunity here for him to come in and do things the way he does it and make it even better. And if there's an opportunity for this song to be better and to check this, this part of my bucket list, it's like, then let's do that. And I reached out and he was the language barrier. It was kind of funny at first, like explaining the like the concept of the song, and I could tell it was almost like wanted to be like, are you okay? But once we got through it and everything, it made a lot of sense, and his vocal could not have come out better. We have been playing it live, but it almost doesn't do it justice. I can't wait. I hope one day there's an opportunity for him to come out and do his parts and just sing me under the table and make me feel like a child. Because it would absolutely be a dream come true.
Bitchin' that you got him on the record, even better, you got him on the video too.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of all of these videos for this whole record were green screen. We wanted to shoot them and then after the fact kind of decide what world we wanted to be placed inside of. So the recording studio where he had recorded his parts in Sweden had a green screen, and they actually shot his parts in Sweden as well and then sent him over. So I didn't even know what his parts were going to look like until we saw the video in full for the first time. And it was really cool because not being a part of the behind the scenes creative process of his stuff, it kind of watching it tricked me. It kind of felt like he was there with us, and he was not in fact there with us, but it feels like it. And it kind of, yeah, it was a cool experience.
It's great, man, because you always have a guest feature. AJ from Fire from the Gods on the last record. You've had the Asking Alexander, Danny Worsnop before, but this was the first time kind of showing where you came from, showing your roots, having rather than a contemporary and influence.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say this one, and then we've had Jacoby from Papa Roach on a song, but that was a long time ago as well. And so it's like, I have a couple more ideas for future records, but I'm running out. I'm running out, and I hope somebody just like blows my mind. I mean, like I have the ideas that are super unrealistic, right? Like it would be so sick to have, Sean Bellion on a song, but would he ever even entertain that? I don't know. Brent from Shinedown, one of the greatest voices alive, would be so insane, but who knows if those are actually like realistic or not, but we'll see in coming years. We'll find out.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you if you had like a Mount Rushmore of like vocal influences. I mean, obviously Christian, figured Jacoby as well. And anyone else that you'd put up there? Any two other ones that you'd put up there?
Yeah. Brent for sure. I mean, in the rock realm, that would be a dream come true. It would be another one where I'd be like, all right, I am welcoming you into this album to make me look terrible. Like I know you're going to be so much cooler than me in every way. And that's okay. I just love your voice. I want to hear it on here. But yeah, that, and then I don't know. Maybe even M Shadows or something just kind of crazy like that would be really cool. Something that's so polar opposite of my voice that it adds a whole different element I just think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's cool, man, because I think it's important for younger people to know a band like Blindside. You know, it's important for them to learn where you came from and to go back and trace your roots and learn about these bands. So awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the most important parts to me. Like on um this Light I Hold, that album, which is the one that we had Jacoby on, we also had Larry Solomon as a guest vocalist. And there are some people that are familiar with his band, My American Heart, but never was his name kind of like spotlighted. So being such a fan of his voice, and he and I were the same age, so they were writing and recording music at 16, and I was in high school and I was on Pure Volume and I was listening to them and getting inspired and stuff. And so to spotlight him as a person, because I love him and his voice, and to like send it out to the masses of Memphis May Fire fans was a really fun opportunity, and he deserves every bit of that. So that's that's a whole nother aspect of guest vocalist where it's like, you know, is this going to sell more records? No, but is this going to allow people to get to know somebody that had a huge impact on me? That's just as important to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, speaking of influences and impact, and you've already done it once, man, the Warp Tour, and happening again, happening in SoCal. But dude, I mean, you guys in Warp Tour is a big long history. You've done 6 different Warp Tours, and now you've done one this year. How did it feel? Did the dirt and the sweat and everything, did it smell the same? Did it feel like old Warp Tour again?
We got super lucky in DC. It was like overcast and 70 all day.
Oh wow.
So it was, and I mean, I think the day before us, because it was a 2-day thing, I think I heard the day before us was pretty hot. So they had more of an actual old school Warp Tour experience. I had like a full on magical experience where, as a redhead, significant cloud coverage and 70 degrees is like, it's heaven for me. It's a gift for real. And then on top of all of, like the show was massive and we brought big pyro and it was so sick. Right. But on top of that, Elliot Sloan, who is one of my favorite pro skaters, invited me up onto the half pipe to watch him skate from up there. And I mean,
Right.
there was a bunch of amazing skaters there. And it was just really cool I'd never had that perspective. And it's that ramp that they had at Warp Tour is an actual portable X Games ramp that they use for the X Games. So it's
Oh,
kind of
wow.
like I skated when I was younger, and it was a really cool full circle moment to be like, I would never in a million years drop in on that right now. So to see somebody, and Elliot's a fan of Memphis, and so like for those two worlds to collide was such a cool thing. And it also, the top of the half pipe had a really rad direct view of main stage. So it was like a whole nother perspective to watch some shows and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I'm sure you grew up skateboarding, but I'm terrified to get back on a skateboard now, all these years later. Like
Oh, it would ruin me, dude. Yeah. I mean,
something's breaking.
it would be my whole like band and crew and like business manager and everybody would be like, you're not doing that. Like there's too many people that would be affected by one dumb fall. And so, yeah, we try to play it safe.
Well, dude, you talk about how great the DC Warp Tour was, so you decided to punish yourself for this next one, the Long Beach one, the Southern California one, doing double duty.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of triple duty because Anberlin plays like the pre-party show. So which is like the day before, right? So yeah, it'll be crazy for sure. But luckily the Warp Tour sets are not headline sets. They're not like ultra long, which is kind of the saving grace. In any other scenario, like when I first joined Anberlin, everyone's like, when's the Anberlin Memphis tour? And I was like, never. Like, I'm not gonna do that. It would kill me, right? And so, but in a situation like that and on separate days, stuff like that, it really does. It makes it possible. And the only real risk is that I, say, what's up, we're Memphis May Fire when I'm out with Anberlin or something like that, right? Just it's kind of a mind game. So we'll see.
Well, at least they're going to separate you and give you one on each day, right? You're not have to run from one stage to another on the same day or anything like that.
That would suck so bad. Yeah. So no, that's not happening.
And speaking of weather, I'm sure it will be a lot cooler in Long Beach and more of an ocean breeze than compared to where it normally is in SoCal at the Pomona Fairgrounds. But seems so out of place, man. It feels like it should be at the fairgrounds in Pomona. Like that's where it's always been in SoCal.
I know. Yeah. I understood from the jump. I love Amanda Palin, who is kind of like running things with Kevin Lyman. And when she came into the picture, I knew that not only would some things be different, but some things would be better. Right. And so even though there is like we want the nostalgia of punishing ourselves all day long, at the same time, for the artists, but most importantly for the fans, they have more longevity to their day, to their energy and how they feel when it's somewhere, that it feels a little bit better, when it's not Las Vegas on the blacktop, 103 degrees, no cloud coverage. So, yeah, it's not going to feel as much as throwbacky, but it will definitely be cool. And the spirit, the essence of Warped Tour is there. It is present.
Yeah, I mean, I've been missing it. I mean, dude, you've been a part of those big festival, Mayhem, Warped, Ozfest, all those have kind of gone away, and I miss that. I miss to go into a show for one or two bands and falling in love with three or four you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so glad that the Warped Tour is back. But kind of curious too, man. Do you look up and down a Warped Tour lineup and go, oh, I can't wait to see those guys, or I never did see those guys? Like for the SoCal one, the one that really jumps out to me is Ice MFT. I mean, he's playing solo as rapper Ice-T and then body count set. So either way, you're getting Ice-T.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And some of like the surprises like that are the fun part. There is a lot of bands that we have either toured with or that I have seen before that I'm still gonna go watch. On this last one, I was like, I will not miss Seosin's set, because it's gonna be so epic. So I was over there. But yeah, some of the surprise ones that maybe you never would have thought you would have seen at Warped Tour, but maybe you would have never seen anywhere in your life. Maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity. And the stars kind of aligning like that. It's really cool, man. So yeah, I definitely do. More so than like kind of looking through the list of who to see. I like check immediately when we get our set time to like make sure that we're not playing at the same time as someone I want to see, because that sucks. On this last one, we played directly up against Simple Plan, which is a hard slot on Warped Tour. And our crowd was amazing to us. We're so thankful to them. But it was kind of like it was like an out of body feeling to be on stage, but to look directly in front, and I could see their giant projector screens of Simple Plan playing, right? So I felt like I was playing a show to Simple Plan. It was the weirdest, the weirdest feeling. But yeah, definitely going to catch a lot of sets.
I would think you'd have the opposite effect and be like, it's on, like a game on, like you're sparring with Simple Plan, like, oh, we got to get a bigger pit going than they do or something.
I mean, at Warped Tour, a band like that, it's not even really a competition. You're just like, it's a humbling experience. We'll say that.
Well, definitely looking forward to it and seeing you there with both bands. And did want to touch on a little bit upon Anberlin. You said you're already working on new material with them?
Yeah.
Any idea when that's coming?
I can't say anything else. I actually don't even know if I was supposed to say that. So you got a freebie out of me.
Woo-hoo!
But yeah, but I can't give anything else away.
What about touring wise for you? I mean, obviously Warped Tour this summer. What's next? Which band's going out next? What's the next tour for you?
The next one is really soon, actually, is leg 2 of the Never Take Friendship Personal 20-year tour. And we have different opening acts on this one. We're bringing The Almost and Watashi Wa, which is such a cool lineup. In my opinion, I think it'll be a really exciting night from start to finish. And then after that, we're doing, so I go to Australia with Memphis, like right away, very soon, like next week. And then we do the Never Take Friendship Personal 20-year second leg of that for Anberlin. And then I think I have Australia again with Anberlin, and then South America with Memphis. It's all over the place. And then we do leg 2 of the Shapeshifter tour in America, which I also don't know if I was supposed to say that. You're getting it all out of me today, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, there will be a leg 2 of the Shapeshifter tour that will start at Warped Tour Orlando.
Ah,
So yeah, it's a crazy year, and I'm just gonna be where my feet are. I'm not even gonna look at the schedules.
I'm just curious how you keep your marriage going with all this traveling and never being home.
When I joined Anberlin, Brittany and I made a decision to never be apart for more than 10 days. So she's on tour with me a lot.
Ah,
And she can, yeah. So the only real like relationship killer is my dogs, and it sucks so bad. But they have a full-time sitter that is like a second mom to them. They love her so much. So but yeah, Brittany is out with me a lot, and so we're staying strong.
well, Matty, always a blast to get to talk to you, and can't wait to see you at the Warp Tour with both bands. And loving the new Memphis album. Can't wait for the new Anberlin album and the future tours with both of those bands. Always a blast to talk to you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother. We'll see you out there at Warped.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you so much. Bye
All right.
bye.
Peace.